If you've modified your truck or car in the past 5 years, the EPA is building a database with your information right now. Fines start at $5,000 per violation and can reach $50,000 for repeat offenses. This is not a scare tactic. Enforcement letters are being mailed this month. The EPA just allocated $473 million to enforcement of the Clean Air Act Section 203A. That's the federal law making it illegal to remove or modify emissions equipment on any vehicle used on public roads. They hired 1,200 new enforcement agents in 2025. Their only job is finding modified vehicles and issuing fines. Here's how they're catching you. License plate recognition cameras are installed at truck stops, emissions testing stations, and even some traffic lights. These cameras photograph your license plate and feed it into EPA databases. If your truck is lifted, has aftermarket exhaust, or shows signs of emissions deletion, it gets flagged. You receive a letter within 45 days. The second method is even more invasive. Inspection stations are now required to report vehicles that fail emissions testing due to missing equipment. If your EGR delete or DPF delete is discovered during state inspection, that shop must file a report with EPA within 10 business days. Shops face $10,000 fines per unreported violation. Every shop is now a federal informant. Social media is the third enforcement tool. The EPA has a dedicated team monitoring Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook for videos showing illegal modifications. If you post a video of your deleted diesel rolling coal, they screenshot it, identify your vehicle, and mail you a notice. They're currently processing over 3,000 social media cases. Diesel deletes are the #1 target. Removing the diesel particulate filter, exhaust gas recirculation system, or DEF system, is a federal crime. The EPA estimates 250,000 diesel trucks on American roads have been deleted. Each owner faces minimum fines of $5,000. That's $1.25 billion in potential fines. The fines break down like this. First violation for DPF delete is $5,000. EGR delete is another $5,000. Tuner software that disables emissions monitoring is $5,000 more. If you deleted all three, that's $15,000 for one truck. Second violation within 3 years jumps to $15,000 per item. Third violation is automatic $50,000 fine plus potential criminal charges. Here's what most people don't know. The shops that perform the work are also getting fined. Banks Power, one of the largest performance parts companies, just paid a $3.2 million settlement with EPA. Bully Dog Tuners paid $2.1 million. H&S Performance paid $1.1 million. These companies have to provide customer lists to EPA as part of settlements. If you bought from them, EPA has your name and address. PPEI, MM3 Tuning, and EFE Live all settled and handed over customer databases. EPA now has the names of over 147,000 diesel truck owners who purchased delete tuners. Letters are going out in waves. Phase 1 covered 15,000 customers in October. Phase 2 hits 38,000 in November. Phase 3 targets the remaining 94,000 through February. The letter gives you 3 options. Pay the fine within 30 days and sign a statement promising to restore emissions equipment. Provide proof you've already restored the equipment or request a hearing. 93% of people who request hearings lose and pay higher fines due to legal fees and penalties for delay. Compliance costs are brutal. Restoring a deleted diesel to factory emissions specs costs $8,000 to $18,000 depending on the truck. You need all the original parts. Most got thrown away. You're buying from dealers at full retail. A DPF assembly for a 6.7 Power Stroke is $7,300. EGR valve and cooler is $3,200. DEF tank and injector system is $4,100. Labor is another $2,000, total $14,000 plus. Some owners think they can just pay the fine and keep the truck deleted. Wrong. EPA requires proof of compliance within 90 days of fine payment. You must take the truck to a certified emissions testing facility and submit passing test results. If you don't, the fine reapplies and doubles. They'll keep fining you until you comply or surrender the vehicle. Gasoline vehicle modifications are next. Cold air intakes that remove emission sensors are violations. Catback exhausts are legal, but catless downpipes are not. High-flow catalytic converters must be EPA certified or they're illegal. Tuner software that disables check engine lights or modifies fuel maps to run rich is prohibited. The SEMA Action Network is fighting back but losing. They argued that vehicles modified for off-road use only should be exempt. EPA rejected it. Their position is simple. If the vehicle has a VIN and is registered for road use, all federal emissions laws apply regardless of where you actually drive it. Your off-road park excuse doesn't work. Enforcement is starting in California, New York, New Jersey, Colorado, and Washington. These states have cooperative agreements with EPA for joint enforcement. California alone issued 12,000 modification violation notices in the first 8 months of 2025. New York issued 7,200. New Jersey issued 4,800. Texas is the biggest battleground. The state has over 300,000 deleted diesel trucks, more than any other state. EPA opened a regional enforcement office in Houston, specifically targeting Texas truck owners. They're working with Texas Department of Public Safety. DPS troopers are now trained to identify deleted trucks during traffic stops and report them to EPA. The truck community is in full panic mode. Diesel forums are filled with people asking how to reverse deletes without getting caught. Shops that used to advertise delete services are scrubbing their websites. Tuner companies are going out of business. The secondary market for used emissions equipment is exploding. A used DPF that cost $800 2 years ago now sells for $3,000. Some owners are trying to hide modifications. They're reinstalling stock exhaust tips to look factory. They're using tuner software that can switch between deleted and stock maps. They're avoiding emissions testing states. None of this works. EPA's database cross-references your VIN with original equipment specifications. When you get flagged, they know exactly what's supposed to be on your truck. The commercial trucking industry is getting destroyed. Owner-operators who deleted their trucks to improve fuel economy now face business-ending fines. A single semi with a deleted emission system can generate fines of $75,000. Multiply that across a 10-truck fleet, and you're looking at $750,000 in fines. Small trucking companies are filing bankruptcy. EPA is also targeting the supply chain. Online retailers selling delete kits are being raided. Amazon, eBay, and Summit Racing all received cease and desist orders. They must remove emissions defeat devices from their platforms and provide seller information to EPA. Wish and AliExpress, the Chinese marketplaces, are still selling delete parts, but customs is now seizing shipments at the border. Individual sellers on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist are being targeted too. EPA agents are posing as buyers to catch people selling delete tuners and parts. They arrange purchases, show up, confirm the parts are emissions defeat devices, and issue on-the-spot fines. 347 people have been fined this way in 2025. The enforcement technology is getting more sophisticated. EPA is testing remote sensing devices that can detect deleted vehicles from the roadside. These devices measure exhaust composition as vehicles drive past. If your truck shows zero particulate matter or missing NOx signature, it's flagged as deleted. The device photographs your plate and automatically generates a violation notice. Pilot programs are running in Los Angeles, Denver, and Newark. Car meets and truck shows are enforcement gold mines. EPA sends agents to events photographing modified vehicles. Diesel truck pulls are especially targeted. If you compete in a sled pull with a deleted truck, you're getting a letter. Agents are at every major event documenting thousands of violations. The financial pressure is forcing people to sell their trucks, but deleted trucks are nearly unsellable. No dealer will take one on trade. Private buyers are scared to touch them. Your $90,000 deleted Ram is worth maybe $40,000 because the buyer has to factor in $14,000 to restore emissions plus $5,000 for the fine they might inherit. Some lenders are even refusing to finance deleted trucks. Legal challenges have failed. Multiple lawsuits argued EPA is overstepping authority. Courts ruled emissions equipment tampering clearly violates Clean Air Act. First Amendment challenges claiming it's free speech to modify your vehicle were rejected. Fourth Amendment arguments about database surveillance were dismissed. Property rights claims that you own the truck, so you can modify it lost. EPA has won every single case. Serious legal consequences await repeat offenders. After 3 violations, cases can be referred to federal authorities. Maximum financial penalties can reach $250,000. Major enforcement actions are scheduled throughout 2026 across multiple states. Shop owners performing modifications face severe business consequences. Facilities can receive fines up to $50,000 per violation. A shop that performed 200 modifications could face $10 million in total fines. Multiple automotive businesses have already reached settlements with EPA requiring them to cease modification services. The modification landscape has fundamentally changed. EPA has massive resources, advanced detection technology, and strict enforcement policies. Vehicle owners have 3 realistic options. Restore vehicles to factory specifications now. Comply with restoration requirements after receiving enforcement notices, or convert vehicles to off-road only status. For current owners of modified vehicles, here are practical steps. First, Understand that social media posts create permanent documentation that enforcement can reference. Second, geographic relocation provides only temporary relief as enforcement expands nationwide. Third, plan financially for restoration costs as compliance requirements intensify. Fourth, contact the original modification facility about restoration services at negotiated rates. Many shops now offer compliance assistance programs. Fifth, respond immediately to any EPA correspondence and consider consulting with environmental compliance attorneys. Delayed responses typically increase final penalty amounts. Sixth, monitor emerging legal actions against parts manufacturers. Some owners are pursuing claims against companies over product representations. Seventh, maintain comprehensive documentation including all notices, repair records, and compliance activities for potential future needs. The aftermarket modification industry faces unprecedented transformation. Financial penalties have reached levels that fundamentally alter business decisions. What was a $30 billion sector is rapidly restructuring. Shops are transitioning to compliant products. Parts manufacturers are reformulating business models. Enthusiasts are reassessing vehicle builds. The modification culture has entered a new era defined by strict regulatory oversight that has permanently changed the automotive landscape.